Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us for our January Power Hour. It's so great to see some new faces this time around. For those that are new, this is our seasonal, not quite quarterly updates, where we collaborate with community partners to share updates on what's going on in our various entities. Today's presenters include the City of Perry, Perry Economic Development, the Perry Community School District, and the Perry Chamber of Commerce. So appreciate you all joining us. It's a great opportunity, like I said, to stay up to date with what's going on. We will hold off on questions until the end because we are tight with just an hour. And so a reminder to our speakers, everyone has 10 minutes. We will have Eileen over here with flashing a sign for 5 minutes and 2 minutes to go, time, things like that, to keep everyone rolling over your lunch break to be out by 12:30. So again, enjoy your lunches. It looks like there's a couple more there. So if you haven't picked up your lunch, I think there's a couple more joining us here soon. Thank you. And we'll get started with Sven Peterson of the City of Perry.
Thank you for starting that, Clark. Somebody has to start. Can I take this off? Maybe. All right. Now I just have to stay between the speakers probably. All right. So I'm Sven Peterson, City Administrator for the City of Perry. I've been around for a little bit of time, about 10, coming on 11 years. So today, with the advice of Lindsay Pasuti, I'm not going to do as much on projects, but given that it is city, county, school budget season, which is why, Clark has so many gray hairs probably, figured I'd do a little bit of budget update and also how that relates to some legislation that is out related to property taxes. So I will give the very short version because it is maybe a little dry to some, but if anybody in the room is a finance property tax nerd and wants several hours of conversation, let me know because we can really get into the weeds on this. So I want to start out with City of Perry's core values: strong work ethic, problem solving, community oriented, professionalism and integrity, being a team player, being accountable, and being a good steward. And accountability and good stewardship is really for us centered around being entrusted with public resources. So not only property taxes, but physical infrastructure that we maintain, build, operate, all of those things. So this is going to be really hard to see probably all of the numbers. So I shamelessly don't tell my grandmother. I pulled up my grandmother's house and her assessment and property taxes and all of that. So back in 2021, her home was assessed at $175,000. Today, that property is assessed at $251,000. Just for a little bit of fun and perspective, I don't know if anybody else is a Zillow nerd or likes to watch some stuff, but the Zestimate on Zillow is $257,000. You can see the graph back around that 2001 was closer to that 150 sub 200. So when we talk about assessments, and as those relate to property taxes, the county assessor, it's all by state code, properties are assessed based on sale data. And the assessor has to assess properties within a certain percentage of what the retail value of that home would be. So, personally, I've gotten a mortgage, I've refinanced, and both of those times my appraisal came back within a few $1,000s of what the county had assessed me at. So those assessments typically are truly the retail value of your home. So one thing to keep in mind, as your home assessment goes up, it is very likely that your property value in general is going up, and that is building wealth. Right, Vince? Home equity is important. So keep that in mind as you see those assessments coming in every couple of years on homes and commercial properties, things like that. That is their best scientific approach to setting the value of homes for property taxes. And then here is all of the stuff that makes property taxes really complicated. So from that $250,000, the state has what's called a rollback, which is anywhere from it's usually between 40 and 50% rolled back. So you can see that $250,000 house, the gross taxable value that the property is taxed at is $106,000. This property has a homestead exemption. I don't believe my grandmother is over 65, but apparently she is. So you get the exemptions divided by 1,000 times the levy rate, which is a city, school, county, assessor has a small levy, ag extension has a small levy, Dallas County Hospital makes up that overall levy rate. And then you have your gross property taxes, any credits, and then net taxes due. And this is kind of what I wanted to point out. In payable 2022-2023, 3704, and that has gone up $94 over that time period. Every town is different, every home is different, but when we talk about property taxes are way out of control, I just wanted to show an example of a pretty average home and what property taxes have done. So, next slide. Now, I got the 5-minute card. I'm halfway through. See, I can nerd out. So next, just kind of wanted to go through some of where those general fund dollars go. So this is a breakdown and a pie chart of each of the different areas that are funded through the general fund, which is property taxes, and then any fees for services such as garbage, building permits, things like that. Okay. Again, this one is a little hard to break out. So a couple of these next slides are just showing the difference of the percentage of those department budgets that come from just property taxes versus other funds or other revenue sources. So we can click through these. Good. All right. So when we talk about expenditures in the cities, counties, school districts, everything, prices are always going up. And, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, cities, counties, government entities aren't buying milk and eggs. We've seen that inflation. We are buying a lot more expensive things. So a couple of things I want to point out. Over about 12 or 22 years, our levy rate has only increased about 8%. The combined general fund levy has gone down a little bit. This is our overall general fund revenue increase in that 22 years. This is where it gets fun. From 2003, health insurance costs have gone up 243% for a single plan, 207% for a family plan. Our property and casualty insurance has gone up 252%. And when you look at the overall levy of the city, out of that $18, only $8.34 is going to general fund operations. The rest is going to this insurance, debt service, and a few other things like that. And these are really the things that are out of our control. It's hard to switch property and casualty insurance. Health insurance market, everybody knows, is not that fun. And then utilities have also gone up. Okay, this is the one that makes me cry at night. So this is just kind of a little bit of a listing of some of the equipment that we purchase. So a couple of years ago, we bought a street sweeper, and it was 98% more expensive than the last time we bought one. F-250, which is street department, parks department, plowing snow, has gone up 216%. Tandem axle dump truck has gone up 337% since the early 2000s. The pumper truck that we just took delivery of last year went up 52% from when we bought one in 2014. So that's only 10 years, 50% increase. Ladder truck, ours is a 2002. We're kind of in the process of starting to think about that as it kind of gets closer to the end of its useful life. This is a guesstimate, 243% increase. And that is also the price that you contract out and then take delivery of up to 4 years later. That's how long it takes from ordering to delivery. It's about 4 years. The residential arm truck for garbage, it's time to replace that. We're looking at almost 100% increase in that cost. A front end loader, 100%. Police car from 2002 to what we're looking at in this year's budget is about 250% more in that time frame. And then a plow truck. How many people in here enjoy streets being plowed when it snows? Okay. Those that didn't raise your hand, I assume you have four-wheel drive vehicles. That is about 315% more than it was back when we bought one in 2002. My time is up. Here's a downtown project. We did a cost difference between projects we did in 2004 versus today. You can see they are quite a bit more expensive. We're looking at we have funding in the planning process to put a trail from the Iowa Street wetland up to connect to the middle school. And then we are paving Sumas Avenue and doing improvements to 141 intersection. And we're waiting on questions. Thank you very much. Do you want to hold or?
I'll find a spot here, Sven. Hello, everybody. My name is Clark Wicks. Been the superintendent here at Perry Schools for 9 years. I am going to be retiring, but I'm not tired. All right, so there's a difference. Just had a question just right before we were eating. Are you counting the days? I said, not even close. There's so much work to do or situations to get through that I'm not even thinking about retirement. So looking forward to it, but not counting the days. At your spot, I handed out some cards that I want you to take a look at because you're going to be involved with this a little bit. These are some of the core principles that I've tried to follow as a principal, which I was for 24 years, and then as a superintendent. You'll see in there, I care, the I, inviting atmosphere. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means. C, continuous improvement. A, appreciation. R, relationships. E, enthusiasm. So today, we're going to look at a number of different pictures that cover the 9 years of superintendency, as well as maybe a little bit as a principal, too. I think we have maybe 100 pictures, but we're going to go just very quickly on these. All right, this one on the left doesn't have anything to do with I care. All right, I just thought it was a cute picture of one of our grandsons on one of those big John Deere. The other thing to the right, we have Don and Martha Strachey. Don and I officiated basketball for over 30 years. It prepared me well to be a principal and superintendent because every call that you make, half the people disagree with you. All right. Similar as a superintendent and principal sometimes. About half the people disagree with you on whatever it is. Son Kevin, he joined when it went to a 3-person. And one of the things that we did, and this would be the C on your card, continuous improvement. Each time we would go to a game or back, we talked about our calls, we talked about the interpretation of the calls, and we also talked about how we could have done something more fair, not always better in everybody's eye. But that was quite a experience. If you know Don, Don's very competitive. And one thing in our travels was this. That guy knew almost the exact mileage of every place that we would go. And I said, Don, are you looking this up somewhere? And he goes, no, I just know from going to games and this and that. So we'd always have a little bit of a bet. All right. And if you know Don, his line is, I don't bet anything unless I know I can win. So through all of our travels, like if we're going to go to Carroll, we would say from this point, it's going to be X amount of miles. The person that got closest to that would get $1, something like that. Well, Don has been retired for a long time on my money and Kevin's money throughout that time. All right, here we go. Next one. This was the first day of coming to the superintendency. Wife Deb there. That's the only time that she sat at that desk. So, all right, just so you guys know. But has been a big supporter. Hey, to the left is Gary Overla. And this picture, I just think it's such an interesting picture because Gary, and this is a ball player from, I think it was Grandview Christian, 7-footer, quite a contrast, but Gary had a very inviting atmosphere as we welcomed that kid, and they were all good sports about taking that picture. Okay, next up, really big with Perry Pride. Talk about Perry Blue, talk about trying to have everybody wear their blue and have a little spirit on Friday. I think the one thing that we want to connect with is that inviting atmosphere. And I guess in my mind, when I wear the Perry Blue, it's an appreciation for the opportunity to be here. And I think appreciation goes a long ways. If you have that level of appreciation, it can bring joy to your life. But here are some pictures of our staff and some of the Friday Perry Blue. Okay. Next picture was, I think, a cool one. You talk about wisdom. We talk about relationships. You have Mr. Marburger there, one of the wrestling coaches, and then Dan Gable, who is a legend from the Iowa wrestling program, came to speak. This next thing, I think it talks a ton about an inviting atmosphere. Be somebody that makes everybody feel like somebody. Powerful statement. So what I take from that is the presence that you bring, the excitement that you bring, so that when you can look at a person, whether they agree or disagree with you, there's some kind of connection into one thing, and that is what's going to be best for our kids at Perry Community Schools. Okay? This is one thing that I've enjoyed. Kevin and I, we've coached basketball. Look at Tom Lipovac here as he's helped us out with so many things along his over 40 years of service with activities. This is a great little group that is, I think they're seventh graders now. I think this is like fifth grade. The point being the importance of activities and how much it helps kids with their academics, with their relationships, with having a purpose. I could go on and on. And we have over, Tom, correct me, but I think there's close to 1,100 activities throughout a year. 1,100 activities. I can say right now, the group of young, when I say young, younger than me, younger parents, as I'm looking around here, moms and dads that help with a number of different activities. This is a powerful look in our Perry High School Commons area with Perry on there, little Perry Pride. All right, continuing. It's all about graduation. Graduation. Ultimately, when they start as preschool, all the way up. Ultimately, what we want is to have kids that are knowledgeable, skilled, and have character. And one of the things right here, the picture to me says how important graduation is. We have great graduation ceremonies, and it's one of the activities where that gym is absolutely packed all the way around. So proud of our high school, as well as our middle school, as well as even our preschool teachers and staff that get these kids to a point of graduation. All right. This had nothing to do with eye care, but isn't that an interesting picture? This is at the Perry Golf and Country Club. And the reason I put it on there is many things can happen in life, but now it's how you respond to it. So instead of a golf cart that drove into the swimming pool and we complain about it, Tim Walton has been a tremendous volunteer for many things. And there's a couple other things. He's the guy bringing this golf cart out here, giving a solution to a major problem. We won't go into how that golf cart ever got into the pool, but what an interesting shot. But the point is volunteering, helping when you need to step up when things are going south. Okay. Here again, we have, thanks to Tim Walton, this is the Blue Jay at Dewey Field. All right. This was brought in, had to be gently placed upright, which was quite a feat. And then Laura Skill, our current elementary principal in that picture. But every time you come to Dewey Field, hope that you have a little pride as you look at the Blue Jay. And this was, if you look closely at this Blue Jay, by the way, the amount of welding of every feather, every piece on there, unbelievable. Okay, got 2 minutes. Schools can't do it just with tax dollars. We have to have donors, which we have some donors there. And then I think the entrance to Dewey Field is so sharp, and proud to be a Blue Jay when you can enter Dewey Field. Hopefully some of you can use the track. And probably the three activities, football, soccer, track, we'll have plenty of room for you there. But Dewey Field, great renovation, and I think it adds a great deal to our community too. Okay, right here, this was a quote, and I'm going to read it because it deals with the A, appreciation. Diligence is the path up the mountain of knowledge. Hard work is the boat across the endless sea of learning. That appreciation of learning, but what it takes, diligence, hard work. That was, I believe, in one of the museums in Kansas City. This has nothing to do with but a level of appreciation. Raise your hand if you know who this player might be, number 24 for the San Francisco Giants. Anybody know? Maybe the greatest, in my mind, the greatest player. Who is it? Matt? Willie Mays. He's famous for this catch where he ran and it was behind the back catch. Interesting. This one, most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Abraham Lincoln. How true. We all have responsibility. We all are responsible for ourselves. This is the one that I often talk to with our kids who maybe have some difficulties, our staff that maybe are unhappy with this or that or whatever. What starts with each of us. If each of us can bring a little bit of enthusiasm, the E in I care, and take responsibility of ourselves, because we have so much to be thankful for. And now, one more picture. What's the next one? Oh, hey, this is a great one. And then I'll finish. This is in Sumas Court. One of the first, second, or third years of superintendency. I wanted our staff to realize what a great place we have here in Perry. The different place. So we visited Sumas Court, little history on that. Then we came to the hotel, had a tour of that, Carnegie Library. So people that did not know Perry could then experience a little bit of Perry. I think the support and cooperation with the city of Perry Economic Development Group, the chamber that's putting this on, we all have to work together. And it is so important. As opposed to being divisive, we need to be supportive of each other and the efforts that we do here at Perry. So there's about 70 other pictures. We won't go through those right now. But hey, I care about Perry. And remember, I'm retiring, but I'm not tired. All right, that's it. Okay. Next up. Oh, and then you get to look at all these other beautiful pictures we didn't talk about. Hey guys, last one. Perry High School, the only school in the United States that has the history of education. It is so cool. So if you don't know about that, it's the only museum in the whole country where a high school has that. Matt, you didn't know that, but you did know who Willie Mays was, so I'm going to give you credit for that. All right, here we go. Matt.
Hey, can you hang for a second? Hey, guys, can we give an extra round of applause for Clark Wicks? When we were part of the superintendent hiring committee, and as were many people from Perry, and we didn't tell Clark all of the things that he would have to face in his time here, and so we really appreciate you, Clark, and coming home and serving Perry, as many of us do. So thank you very much. So my presentation, I've got a few stock slides. I can't get all of my words in 10 minutes, but I'm going to try. But I do want to start with this is, we have, Perry Economic Development is an all volunteer organization of Perry people, Perry business people, other people who are interested in helping this community grow. I'm going to boil down a bunch of stuff. Next slide, please, Chris. A bunch of stuff to this is find solid new businesses, help Perry business expand and grow, leverage our partners, and really on Mr. Wick's point is we can't do things ourselves. As good as we are and as many connections as we have, we need everybody here kind of pulling and blocking, tackling the same way to be able to do what I say is find money, leverage our partners, do epic things, and help Perry people and help Perry grow. Our mission's up there, but Sven's lesson on assessed value is part of our core, which is to help grow the assessed value of Perry at base. And so in doing a lot of the things that we do, that is what we're trying to do. And as you know, and Mr. Wicks in particular, and Sven and the Mayor Kavanaugh know 24 was a tough year for us. Okay, other communities that weren't as resilient or strong or could partner together may have folded. Right? I mean, you have as an economic development issue, you have your top leading employer. I'll say leading employer in terms of number of employees decide to close. Right after an unmentionable, unspeakable tragedy at our school. And so, but that being said, is 25 was incredible in a lot of ways. And we did band together, and Sven, I know, and Mr. Wicks and Dirk and several long nights, long working weekends, trying to get back on our feet. And then, the efforts that we have had and have done have really produced some pretty incredible results for 25 that I just want to highlight here. So on our board, we're broken up into 6 pillars, 5 pillars really. New business attraction, which is pretty much what I'm going to focus on for the remaining 5 minutes of my time. Existing business retention and expansion, building sites and infrastructure, community development, and then marketing partnerships. We do have a few of our board members in the room here. I see David Finiseth serves on our community development pillar. John McGee is an alumni. Joni Campadilli from Percival serves on our marketing partnerships as well. And that's important to us. And we are a member-driven company. We are funded by our member companies and by the Weiss Foundation in part. And then along with that, we sell land. We develop property in conjunction with the city of Perry, and we sell that to find when we find these companies. And so I want to point out a few things. This is the industrial park. Okay, for years slowly would sell. We joke that every 5 years we build a spec building. It takes us about that long to sell it. That was the past, right? This industrial park is going on its 40th year of existence or more, and we stand on the shoulders of those members that came before us and city people that had come before us as well to have the foresight to create this for the future, right? And so in 25. We've almost sold it all. Okay, we'll capture that in just a few minutes. But look at what we see here from once was what farmland, right? New Casey's here was 24. ITC started Percival. Obviously anchored the park for years. Now we've got ADR. We're going to talk about in just a minute. JBS is building a very large plant right here. Guthrie County REC is building a very large substation here and on JBS's property. We have a spec building for sale right now. We are working through the city, with the city to try and land a new business here. If everything works out, we're super excited to announce that at a future meeting. But 25 is where we come back. Can we go back one more slide, Chris? Also should point out, Perry, this is the Perry Commercial Park. Business park, some would call it. We also own this, okay? There's 4 lots here. We've had a lot of interest. We haven't had a bite since Farm Credit developed here, but things are changing, right? And so we are excited. We have a broker. This is their representation of this, but that Cushman & Wakefield has been very instrumental in helping us bring other people to and businesses to tell Perry's story, and that's important. I do want to focus right here. We are working with the city right now. This is 28 acres that we had purchased with a friend, a local investor here, Carl Stuckenholz by name, and helped us secure the future of industrial development here in Perry, which is great. So, next slide, please, Chris. New business attraction is what we're talking about. That's the main focus of this. It's a grueling job. Thank you. And you don't know where the calls are coming from, where the leads are coming from. There's whether the city of Perry Economic Development, our utility partners, we have an incredible amount of lead generators, okay? The most we've ever had. I've been doing this as a volunteer for about 15 years. And it's incredible the amount of relationships and partnerships that bring results. We get our story out and they help bring people to us. Or they just call and they see they're driving up 141 and they see available land. M&R Properties is an investor from Nevada area who had done a similar project. It's called an industrial flex building. Okay, why is this important? Well, this would be the first building of what's going to be roughly a $3 million investment to grow the assessed values right over time. But for us we sell very large buildings. But a lot of times there's just not adequate supply of smaller buildings for, let's say, a home-based business to grow and flex is the term into as they grow. And so city is like, oh, you see somebody parking a lot of vehicles and materials in their yard. That's obviously not something the city likes always. And so this would give them an opportunity to rent a 1,500 up and on up square foot space on a monthly basis that would, before this person hopefully then matriculates to build their own building in our park, right? It's kind of nice. That's how it works. So this gentleman had decided that Perry would be his future home. The building and development process is intricate. Codes and building codes in particular are things that people need to follow. Sometimes developers have their own ideas, as you can imagine, that maybe don't always jive with the ideas or the codes that the city may have. And but we, part of our role here is on the new business attraction team is to help with the relationships and make sure they have a smooth transition into Perry, so we can get good projects like this. JBS, obviously everybody is fully aware of this. What they may not know is in the closure of Tyson, Perry Economic Development and the city and others had invited the leading pork experts to Perry in this room for most of the meetings to learn about pork economics, pork packing, anything and everything you can imagine to help understand Tyson and why they did what they did to try and recruit a company like this. We had 3 company targets. They were the top. And here, unbeknownst to us, they had gone through the process with Tyson, did actually not want to buy the plant. They wanted to build their own. And so there's a lot of things that go into this, but this is a huge win for us. It's a huge win for everybody, right? 500 jobs through the plant once they add second shift. We lost 1,200-ish at Tyson. And so we're starting to restore that here, and it's a very positive step. ADR axles, why not, right? They bought 12 acres in the industrial park on a lead from the Des Moines Partnership, and we outcompeted them. The amount of time and energy and that is spent meeting with the companies and telling our story and showing them around town and things, and here a lot of it's driven by the city in particular. So the amount of time that they spend setting up the meetings and a lot of the relationship calls and things lead to this and lead to things like this, and then help from the state with incentives, from the city with incentives, and then whether it's the USDA or others, in this case, Perry Economic Development own the land, so working with them on the price, so they feel like they've got a value, in coming to the community, and then they're supported, leads to, in this case, I believe it's a, roughly $15 million investment. Phase 1, phase 2 is already being planned. I think 35 jobs and very good paying jobs. Okay, so this is a huge win for us. This is not why we do it, but this is the exciting part of doing it, right? By the time you get here, you have done countless hours of all of the relationship things and city negotiating and state negotiating, and we have a lot of partners to get us here. And I want to name who they are. So in this case, Perry Economic Development with the City of Perry, in conjunction with the Greater Dallas County Development Alliance. Rachel Wacker, and I don't think she's here today. She and Grace Grobe are constantly in support of Perry and selling Perry and helping us meet with businesses. The Iowa Area Development Group, they are rural economic developers who are brought here because we have both Guthrie County REC and Minburn Communications as rural telecom and rural electrics, and they serve at the pleasure of them. Which helps us. The Greater Des Moines Partnership is a relationship the city has with them. Fantastic, right? Very professional economic development organization, well renowned throughout the state. And again, I know I'm forgetting someone, DMAC, our local partner. Eddie is instrumental in almost every meeting. And then interestingly, coming up with programming for that company who develops here. Just a few workforce initiatives that Eddie wanted me to touch on. So we also do a lot of other things, most of which we covered in the last one, but we want to highlight that we do sponsor education as well. We sponsor art. We do all kinds of things. There's a summer math lab concept that DMAC had come up with. We also have sponsored teacher recruitment, which is important as well. So there's incentives to bring teachers who will live in Perry and come and work in the district as well, and that's something that we do with our member dollars. Next slide, please. There's a couple things that we do here. One, at the end of 24, and probably we announced a for-profit business grant opportunity in partnership with the city, with the chamber, and with the Iowa Rural Development Council, and that helped. And Lindsay, hopefully, or the chamber members will talk about how many businesses that were helped by this. But these are for-profit businesses helped with grants. Okay. Normally, nonprofits qualify for grants. In this case, these are for-profit business grants that we sponsored with some others, and we're able to help. One last slide here. We also sponsor public art. So you see the sculpture in the boulevard, murals. I mean, that is another thing that we do. It's an initiative that has changed the face of Perry and certainly downtown. And the marketing efforts for us to bring companies to Perry, this hotel, the public art, all of the efforts that we do to beautify our city, add amenities, makes a real difference. And again, that's kind of some of the things we do. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. Good afternoon, everybody. We really want to thank everybody for being here, and we are excited to be with all of you. In fact, we're impressed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Feeling good to be here.
Yeah, so excited.
So, and many of you are Perry Chamber members. So what a great group. Instead of hearing from the Chamber's executive director today, I'm not sure how we got this job, but we did, to just talk a little bit about the Chamber and what it means for us to be in it. So you'll hear us talk about how proud we are to be small business owners in Perry. So I'm Susan Brelsford, and we have Cleanworks Auto Wash on First Street. And we have, like I said, we're both chamber members. I've been on the board the last couple years, and a member of the chamber since 2018. And I just want to briefly tell you that when we started in our business in car washing, we were in other towns around the area, but our goal was to get back home to Perry, to have a business here. So we couldn't be prouder to be a part of the Perry community, as I'm sure all of you here today feel that way too. So now we'll turn it over.
Awesome. I'm going to kind of,
Oh, shoot, now I'm in the way here. Let's change places. There you go.
I'm not talented enough to pick up the microphone and not drop it. So here we are. My name is Emily Leslie. I also am a small business owner. I own Backwards Boutique downtown Perry. A little backstory, my family and I moved here about 11 years ago from the Des Moines area, wanting to start over in a small community, fell in love, and here we are at this presentation. But I am excited that I feel like all of you are friends, and I'm probably going to use that word at some point in this script that I'm going to try to follow, so I also stay on time. But running a small business, I found out, not having that dream or that mindset when I moved here, it wasn't just about a brick and mortar or just about a business. It was about the people that I was working with, and not just working with, but I'm sitting next to 4 days a week at the basketball games, eating popcorn with, which is considered dinner during this part of my life. Also doing those midday grocery stores. That's part of owning a business, is running into the same people that you're doing business with. And I never thought about that part when I was doing the business plan, but I love that part, is actually being part of the community. I'm going to try to actually stay on script here for just a second. The Chamber's mission is to advocate for its members by promoting and encouraging growth in the community, business, and tourism. Sometimes that advocacy is visible, like events that we'll talk about in a minute. Other times it's behind the scenes, making sure business voices are represented. Saturday, super cold. 3 people from the Chamber board loaded up a pickup, went down to the Bike Expo, and promoted biking in Perry on probably one of the coldest days. Didn't cancel their booth that we paid for, but they were out there doing the thing that a lot of people don't know that we do. Thought I would just put that plug in there. The vision of the Perry Chamber is a thriving, vibrant, and attract a community with diverse businesses and self-sustaining economy. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people choose to invest time, leadership, and energy into Perry. Their strategic goals of the Chamber include member growth, community positioning, and destination marketing, which we're going to hear about in the next couple of slides.
So one of the most visible ways that the Chamber supports businesses and our community is in our events. And we have great events, especially the first quarter. And so a couple of the different things that we've got, and we'll start out with the 49th annual bike ride to Ribby. It's right around the corner. So if you haven't signed up for it, we can take your sign up today, and that would be awesome. But thanks to everyone that rides and supports as a volunteer or enjoying from the side of the road, no matter what the weather. And then we've got the 23rd annual Chocolate Walk, and it's another favorite Chamber event. Insider info, this is really secret stuff, as to what the special homemade chocolates of the year will be for this year. So we've got homemade truffles, espresso truffles, different kinds of chocolate truffle brownies. I don't know. Do I need to say more? I mean, just come and enjoy it. And that will be February 14th downtown. And we'll also have tickets available here. Lindsay would like to sell some today. And then that will be February 14th. And maybe it's a Valentine's Day date for you that day if you don't have any plans. Or if you, the other thing too, if you have does anybody have their lunch package still there? And they could maybe check it for.
I think Lindsay has the name of the 2 winners.
We did a random drawing earlier,
Mhm.
and 2 tickets. We had Council member Bar Falling, and chocolate walk ticket winner, and then also Generations Tracy. Tracy is the winner of a chocolate walk ticket, so you can pick it up.
Perfect. Congratulations. We like to give things out in this presentation. So the other highlight would be our annual dinner at La Poste. Is it at the hotel this year or at La Poste? Okay, so it's at La Poste. And the one thing about it, we've had great turnouts at the last few years. So if you haven't bought a ticket, be sure and do that because we sell out. So we want you to be there. The other thing this year too is we have a brand new business that we're going to award, and that will be the new business category, the new business award category. So be thinking about that and the people you know that might be great for that. The chamber dinner, our annual dinner, is just a great way for you to network with all the people in our town, take a moment and connect with everyone. So we have such amazing people in Perry, and this is just a great way to highlight the year and the people that do all the things for us. So then lastly is our Big Boom bracket battle. I guess I don't need to say a ton about that other than it is really our way that we support the Perry fireworks. And that can be in several different ways. Of course, our goal is $18,000. And y'all know how long that takes to raise that amount of money. But a couple things that you can contribute if there's a way you want to be involved is bake a pie, call KDLS, make a donation, and just be involved and volunteer in that. So we just want to have it be a great light show on July 4th in Perry. There we go. Let's look at that.
All right, so let's take a minute to go back to the P.O.W.E.R, the bike ride to Rippy. And I see we have one model in the room so far. I appreciate that. So it's not just an event, but it is actually tied directly to the Chamber's goals of supporting businesses in the community. So raise your hand if you've ever done the bike ride to Rippy. One time. Okay. 2 times. Okay, perfect. Now let's switch modes. Raise your hand if you've ever volunteered for the bike ride to Rippy. Awesome. 2 times. Let's skip to 5 times. Let's skip to 10 times. Oh, Larry. There we go. Larry gets a free t-shirt. Woohoo! That's not surprising. Awesome. Thank you, Larry, for volunteering. And for everyone else who has also volunteered. If you would like to volunteer with myself here at the hotel or that day, or even folding t-shirts before, please contact Lindsay. We have a super easy sign-up form. But January, February. Actually, there were people walking on the sidewalk just a couple minutes ago. I actually took note of that. But besides that, January and February, some of the hardest months in business. And I can say that because I'm there. It's cold. You spent all your money for Christmas in December. You have nothing left. You also don't want to leave your house because it's cold. So these events, as odd as they are, riding a bike in February, and even though people aren't buying sweaters from Backwards Boutique, there are hundreds and hundreds of people coming to my community that see my windows, that can see my smile at the hotel volunteering, that will come back and feel the love that happens right here, happens in this room. And sometimes it's not because they walk through my door, it's just because they see everything else that's going on. That's what P.O.W.E.R is from my lens and from me personally, because I said to say I don't own a bike, but I love the event and I support it in every way that I can. So again, the Chamber supporting the event. Second is community positioning. When you see people, how many people from outside of Perry are visiting our businesses, our bathrooms, our roads, it's a real testament that Perry knows how to host great events monthly, at least, if not more frequently. I get phone calls, texts, emails. How are you guys hosting so many events? Who's helping you run the events, coordinate all of them? Why are you doing that? And how do I bring it to my community? Panora's trying to figure out a chocolate walk in July. I'm like, well, chocolate melts in July, but here's how I can help. So all these communities, they notice what the Chamber does. And third is destination marketing. People across the Midwest know Perry as the host of the bike ride to Rippey. That awareness matters, and we want to keep peddling that message forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next slide. And the gentleman that you see on the map actually rides his bike from Iowa City to Perry and back for the P.O.W.E.R ride. So there we are. We do need your help to meet our 2026 goals and encourage people to register for the ride. And if bicycling is not your thing, you can also make a financial donation. You can stand here at the hotel with me and put a smile on and show them how great we are. That's another way to get involved as well. But there's some fun stats for you on there. Perfect.
All right. So just to kind of wrap up a little bit, that we have a few members in the room who have already acknowledged that they ride in P.O.W.E.R and things like that. But does anybody know what the average age of a man riding in our P.O.W.E.R ride is? Pardon?
Or woman.
Or woman.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Didn't mean to, leave anybody out. Anybody have an idea? No? Might be in front of you. No? Okay, well, there's a prize. So
53.59.
59? Yeah, that's in the range. Yeah, that's in the range. Okay. We'll make it easy. This is just a little something for you because during this time, not only do we get 4 wheels at our business, but we get 2 wheels. We have a lot of people, if the weather's crazy, they're bringing their bike in to rinse it off before they put it away. So there you go. But anyway, that's kind of just, we wanted to make sure we're on time and make sure that everybody had a great time, and we can't wait to see you at the next Power Hour. So I'll let you finish up.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. I gotta put my glasses back on. This is ridiculous. So whether you own a business, you work for one, or you simply support local, the Chamber plays a vital role in making Perry a place that people want to live, work, and visit. Thank you so much for carving time out of your day today, guys. We appreciate you guys sitting here and also being educated with what's going on in our community. Thanks.